Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episodes 11 through 13 of OKKO Let's Be Heroes Season 2. And you may be wondering, okay, why 3 episodes instead of just the normal 2? It's not like going down to 1 where it's like, oh, time constraints or whatever. Well, I looked at the episode count for Season 2 and it's 40. And so I've decided, obviously it was going to be coming to a point where I was going to need to take a break to avoid burnout on the series and everything, especially with doing multiple episodes a week. Like, I was going to eventually have to take a little break on it. And I think that this is a good point, because if I take a break here and then I take a break at, let's say, somewhere between episode 26 and 30, that'll about even out. So that I do this season in 3 parts. Now, obviously, we're not going to be taking like a long break on the series. We're just going to get to some other show, go through that, and then come right back to OKKO. So it's not like it's going to be a long time away or anything. And I will announce in the afterthoughts what will replace it for the time being. But we will be coming back. Just making sure you understand we're not dropping this. We're just going to be taking a break after these episodes. Just to avoid burnout and all. So yeah. We had a kind of important episode last time. With TKO. And it didn't really go into anything like too heavy or anything like too expansive or whatnot with it. We basically got to see Hooded Figure again. We got to basically catch up with TKO and everything, but it didn't really advance anything. Like you know what I mean? Like, it was there, it happened, but nothing actually involving the plot was advanced in any real way. Other than maybe, I guess you could say, KO and TKO getting a little more along. That's the only thing that I think is really going to carry over from that episode. Because Hooded Figure didn't do anything really that important. Like, he may have taken some of those orbs, but that's about it. We don't actually have any important, like big things that have happened with him there. And not really anything was delved into in, like, how much else this is progressing the overall overarching plot of things. So we're just going to kind of have to wait and find out, basically. But I'm definitely interested in seeing more for sure. And I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I do not know what these 3 episodes are going to entail. How important they might be, or if they're just going to be more just typical silliness. But we'll find out. So yeah, we're going to do these 3 episodes, and then we'll take our break, and we'll come back to this fresh mind, ready to go, completely rejuvenated on all of that. And yeah, everything should be good. So yeah, we got these 3 episodes, so let's just get to them. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I'm actually going to talk about the first episode of these 3, episode 11, last, because it's the one I think, focus the most on. It's probably my favorite episode of the season so far, and one of my favorites of the show. just off the top of my head and everything, but we'll get to that. First, let's talk about episode 12. So, it's a Dendi episode, and Dendi shows KO that she has this ability to basically hack into the POW cards and make some customizations and edits to them. All of this while trying to figure out what's wrong with KO's POW card, why he isn't gaining experience and everything, why it's not working properly. So she helps him upgrade his card with this endless loop of fireworks and everything. And then everybody just starts to get wind of it after Droop gets the same treatment done and just basically tells everyone. So everyone starts getting their POW cards edited, and Dendi loves the attention. Dendi loves being able to help everyone and being able to just do this for everyone. And I was kind of wondering if at any point it was going to turn into like this message about like everyone taking advantage of Dendi, or Dendi just like not wanting to do it anymore but feeling pressured into it because everyone is just so happy about it. But no, it actually didn't turn into that at all. Dendi was just very happy to help everyone with it and is just cute and wholesome in that way. No, instead Shannon gets wind of what's going on and decides she wants her POW card updated. So she goes there in a really terrible disguise. And Dendi, even though she knows it's her, agrees to help anyways because it's Dendi and she's kind of awesome like that. Unfortunately, Shannon uses this opportunity to upload her consciousness into basically the internet and digitize herself to where she starts taking over. This is obviously bad, so KO and Dendi have to work to stop her, at which point we learn about a new power that Dendi has. Well, not necessarily new, but something we've never known that she could do before. Apparently she can channel electricity in her feet, allowing her to jump super high. This is really cool, and that's really something you would think of when you think of a Kappa. When you think of a Kappa, you think of abilities more in the vein of like water-based abilities, like, oh, she could probably swim very well, or stuff like that, or maybe like she can shoot water like at high velocities out of her mouth or something. I don't know, things like that. You wouldn't think about electricity. So she is able to use this to get up to the cloud, which that was a fun joke. And there they end up facing a digital spider robot form of Shannon in order to defeat her consciousness. And though at first they seem overwhelmed, they manage to do so. And Carla, who kind of seems to be the one who creates or at least works on the POW cards, she just kind of enjoys it and agrees to help fix KO's POW card. And everything's all good again. Everybody gets to keep their upgraded POW cards. KO finally gets the experience he's earned over this time, leveling up twice because of it. And Dendi even gets to level up. It's a cute episode. It's really nice, and it really just allows Dendi to shine, which is always good. Dendi is a great character, and she deserves to shine every once in a while, and this episode allowed that. Episode 13 was a very character-focused episode, focusing on Enid and Rad. They're sent by Mr. Gar to deliver a package. They have a delivery service that apparently has never been used, but has been around for a while. And so they're sent to this Neo Riot City, or whatever it's called, to deliver this package. Along the way, they're basically trying to fill the void of time by talking, singing songs and stuff. And on the journey, Enid kind of ribs at Rad a little too much. See, it is a thing between a lot of different friend dynamics where, yeah, friends can rib on each other, like poke fun at each other or whatnot, and it's all in good fun. It's all just part of being friends in some cases. But there are some people who just can't handle that as well. And the problem is Enid does it too much here. Enid does it to a degree where it's actually just kind of like her just mocking and insulting him, and he gets progressively more uncomfortable with it. You could see it throughout the episode. Like, he's really becoming uncomfortable with it, to the point, to the end where eventually he explodes. He basically just loses it and just gets really genuinely upset. And it's all kinds of little stuff at first. Like, it's just a little bit of nagging here and there. They talk about how he likes to eat this dangerous food, kind of like, I guess, an allegory for spicy food in reality. And she's like talking about how his body can't handle it, and it embarrasses him when she's like mocking him about it and about previous experiences. She mocks him for his taste in music and for this buzzsaw attachment he made to his van. Stuff like that. And eventually it just kind of all comes to a head when they reach the city. Rad, just really upset by the way Enid had been treating him the entire ride, decides to just go for the bridge entrance, which is really dangerous, just to kind of basically make a statement of, we're doing this my way now. You've been constantly making fun of the things I like to do, the things I enjoy. Well, screw you. We're doing this my way. And it causes trouble. Rad ends up getting captured, and Enid has to save him. And she does. But even though she even uses his buzzsaw attachment, he's still upset at her because of everything she said and did. As they go along and as they continue forward, they finally talk about it. And we see that it's just, she really hurt his feelings, but that she admits that the reason she kind of does it is because of her own issues too. She's kind of projecting her own issues onto other people and pointing out their flaws because she's not figured herself out. As she put it, she's a ninja who kind of wants to be, or she's a witch who kind of wants to be a ninja who also kind of wants to be a hero, and so on and so forth. And it's like, yeah, there's like all of this shit to her, and it's like she hasn't quite figured out exactly where she wants to go with it or what she wants to be. And so just through talking it through and just realizing that they do very much value each other, and that they rib on each other and everything because of how much they do genuinely care, they do end up making up. And they eventually get to where the package is supposed to be delivered. And it turns out it was Gar all along, trying to teach them a message about, bonding together better. Trying to see past each other's flaws and issues and just being closer. It was all a ruse. And he shows them that inside the package they were delivering was this book of memories, this book of photos that of memories that they shared together. And it's like the moment where like Enid just tearfully hugs Rad is really emotionally cute and really nice, and it's a really nice episode that shows how close these two really are. Like, these two are genuinely really good best friends. And it's like, sometimes they will make mistakes, and sometimes they'll hurt each other's feelings and do things wrong, but that doesn't mean they don't care about each other. It just means that they have their own issues too. They're not perfect. So yeah, it was a really good episode with a good message about friendship, and just try to not to take things too far, because some people can't handle all the ribbing. Some people can't handle being poked fun at too much, and sometimes you just need to work that through with them and talk that through with them. I'm someone myself who can't handle that. I know, like, I've had friends who have like to do that, and it's genuinely hurt me when they have. I'm not really good with taking any kind of pressure or insults or anything, even if it is just in a jokey way. It's very hard for me, because especially because I can't always understand if it's meant to be a joke or not. It just doesn't click with me if it's if they're like actually insulting me or just messing around. And because it's hard for me to tell, it upsets me. So yeah, I kind of feel the way Rad felt there, especially with the music thing. There's been a lot of times throughout my life I've been made fun of for liking a lot of the music I have, or even not just music, but shows and movies and video games and all kinds of stuff. So it's ridiculous. And I'm glad that Enid did apologize for upsetting him. But now let's talk about the big one. Again, one of my favorite episodes of the show, definitely my favorite of the season. Episode 11, Red Action to the Future, I believe it was called. We get to see Red Action again, and that's already pretty badass. And she's helping KO and Enid stock some stuff in the store, in the bodega. When she's called by Yellow, I can't remember the full moniker, but she's called by Yellow back to the future to help fight in this war that's going on. Enid wants to ask her to stay, but doesn't have the courage to, and so Red heads out. Eventually coming back, but only basically to say that it's lasting longer than expected, and she's got to go again. And basically, we have this done a couple times, where Enid just really wants to ask her to stay, but is too scared to, and Red keeps coming back from the future each time after a good amount of time. The first time it's after like a few months, the second time it's after a few years. And eventually Enid can't take it anymore and jumps in after her into the time portal. She ends up helping Red and Yellow in the fight in the future, and it works out really well, but Red is still upset that she's there and forces her to return back to the past. Enid does so, really upset by the entire situation, like really upset, like you can tell. And she eventually, like not long after, eventually Red returns, this time like over a decade later. In Red's time. It's been over a decade in Red's time, so she's much older now. You could tell very much so. Like, I'd say she's older than, like, probably older than Carol is. KO's mom. At this point. Just based on the visual cues and everything. And they kind of have a moment together. And by the way, when Enid sees her, when Red is all grown up, you see Enid blush really heavily. And then when there's a point where older Red lifts Enid up, and Enid just turns like bright red, and it's like, oh my god, you are so fucking gay for her. It's like, it's not even. It is actually kind of funny. I was gonna say it's not. She's so gay for her, it's not even funny, but it is kind of funny, and it's super fucking cute and awesome as well. She returns to her time and everything after, like, she had won all these medals and stuff and become a war hero and everything. And she returns, and Enid's kind of gone back to being sad, but then Red is back, and she's younger again. And she reveals that apparently the future Red came back and told her never to leave, and so she never did. And it's like all kinds of time travel paradoxes just weren't created right there. But her explanation is basically it created another timeline. So in this timeline, she never left. And even Enid's like, wait, I guess I remember it happening that way now? Even Enid's like, wait, really? What? I guess that happened. Did that? It's just like, yeah, all kinds of time travel paradoxes and whatnot, like with that. But that's very common for time travel. You're never going to find a time travel story that doesn't have a bunch of paradoxes and just issues with it. Like, that's just, it's going to happen. If it's a time travel story, there's going to be logical issues with it. So, yeah, it feels like it was kind of making fun of that here, just by saying like how ridiculous just that kind of thing would be. Um, so it's kind of funny, but in the end, Enid and Red got to stay together and everything, and it's really cute. And yeah, just when Red is back and everything, and Enid just rushes in to hug her, it's just like, oh my god, this is super gay and super cute, and I love it. And it's just like I was just in love with the episode, and then not just the gay shit. Like the gay shit's amazing, and I love it, but the episode was actually really entertaining and fun. Like I even when it makes absolutely no sense, and when there's all of these paradoxes and shit, I still enjoy time travel stories. They're fun, and you can do a lot of interesting things with them. And I love what they did with the entire thing about like every time Red came back, it's been a different amount of time. Again, months, then years, then over a decade. And I really like that idea. I think that's a really cool idea because it'd been like a matter of seconds basically on Enid and KO's end. But I've always liked when time travel stories do that kind of thing. Plus, we just got to have some fun humor in it with KO and the chips and everything, and even some actually pretty heavy emotional moments, like when Enid went into the future and everything before she went back to her time. Like you see her kind of, you see her and Enid have that fight, and then Enid like goes through. She's like very clearly emotionally hurt after being yelled at by Red, and then she's like, "Oh no, it's okay. I don't need you jerks." And she's acting all nice and friendly with the way she's speaking, but you can tell that she's hurt when she goes back through that portal. And it's like that hurt me watching that. That was heavy. And I get why Red said what she did, and again, there was a lot that happened and everything, and she's been through a lot, and just she was probably also scared that Enid was going to get hurt and everything, and just a lot of issues there. But it all worked out in the end, and yeah, it's really cute. And again, I know where this goes. This is one of the things that I do know about this series because it's kind of one of those things that was everywhere when it happened. So I do know where Enid and Red Action's relationship goes. I do know they get together. Let's just leave it at that. It's just one of those things that was everywhere. Like, I couldn't go anywhere online, on any social media site, Twitter, Facebook, anything, without seeing it. It was such a big deal for representation and for the series, and it just was really cool. So yes, I know about that. So it's not like it's anything that would surprise me, like even in a positive way. But it's cool to see that this was built up. Like the Enid and Red Action stuff has been built up. It's not just coming out of nowhere. There are episodes that are leading up to that eventual reveal. And so I like that. I like that it's not just like a sudden surprise thing, but it's actually been something that clearly Ian James Quarterly and the team had been planning for. And considering Ian came over from Steven Universe and stuff, it makes sense. Like, let's be honest. Of course this show is going to have some good representation in it. Maybe not as heavily as Steven Universe did, but still very, very good representation. And again, seeing it handled so naturally and in such a believable, just genuine way with episodes like this, I really like it. Again, it's just one of the things that just really hit me in the right way with this episode. And even though it was the first of these 3 episodes we reacted to in this set here, it was a good episode for us to leave off on for the time. It was a good episode for our final reaction for the time being until we come back to the series in the future. So yeah, as I had said in the pre-thoughts, we are going to be taking a break from OKKO. We will come back to it in the future, continue right where we left off, all of that jazz. Just taking a break to avoid burnout and just come back refreshed and we will begin right back with episode 14 some points in the future whenever we finish the next show that we will be going through. Or I guess if we drop it or something, depends on how much we get through of it in that regard. But, so that may raise the question to you, okay, what are we going to replace this with for the time being? Well, I'm looking at my list here, and this is not a donation reward or anything. This is just something I decided to get back to because, as I had said when we did, it's something that it's been a while and I've always meant to get back to this series. So, as I had said before, when we put Adventure Time on hold, after we either finished OKKO or put it on hold or whatever, then we would come back to Adventure Time. So, yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that. Adventure Time is going to be resuming. I believe we're on episode 28 of season 6 of Adventure Time. So we're getting right back to that right away. And yeah, obviously excited for that. So in that regards, obviously we won't be dropping Adventure Time again, but we're going to go through, we'll watch a certain number of episodes. Not sure exactly how many yet, but we'll get through a bunch of them. And then we'll come back to OKKO. So, yeah. I don't know. It depends on how many episodes of Adventure Time Season 6 there are. Let me check that real quick, actually. I know I had looked this up back when I was doing that, but I don't remember. 43. So, Season 6 has 43 episodes. And again, we left off, like, the last one we watched was, like, episode 27, I believe. So, if we continue 28... yeah, we should be able to finish Adventure Time Season 6 and then come back to OKKO Season 2. Should all be good. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these 3 episodes of OKKO Let's Be Heroes Season 2? What did you think of just Enid and Red Action just being amazing couples goals and shit? What do you think of the Enid and Rad episode and their relationship and just how that was covered in that episode? And even what do you think of the Dendi-centric episode? These were all 3 very good episodes. Like, obviously, the Red Action to the Future was my favorite, but all of them were good. I enjoyed all of them. So I'm very happy that we're going on hiatus with this series after like 3 really good episodes. That's always the best feeling. So yeah, tell me what you think down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.